group this morning that very generously found an extra height for me, so you could see me and I could see you. Sometimes it's hard to get an idea of the Holy Spirit. This Pentecost Sunday, we wear red. We claim this day. It's 50 days after Easter. Yet, what is it to have an experience of the Holy Spirit? As Lutherans, we have the tendency to be afraid of the power of the Holy Spirit. It's those Pentecostals over there who do that, right? But let's think about it. What is it to experience the love of God through the Holy Spirit? I learned on my trip out here to Portland, moving out here to Portland, this story that we have from Acts where the wind came in the room. My older son and I were with 3 cats. We're in a 12-foot box truck bringing some of my household goods. And I made the decision not to go through the snow in Utah, but instead to go north across Wyoming. There were signs, big signs that said anything under 12,000 pounds that's tall should not be on these roads. But I didn't pay attention because how bad can any wind be, right? So, white-knuckling it, literally white-knuckling it, palms sweating, I drove until I could drive no more, which was only about 5 miles, and pulled into a truck rest area with a bunch of other trucks, and I parked like a regular car, and the wind was so strong that I was afraid this 12-foot box truck was going to tip over. So I drove it to park in line with the big trucks that were smart enough to be there, and I waited and felt that wind blow like I have never experienced wind in my life. My 4-day trip out here took 8 days because we stayed 3 days in a hotel in Wyoming because I wasn't going to drive in that wind. It was awful. But I think about that experience is reminding me how powerful, physically powerful wind can be. So what does it mean to have a spiritual experience that powerful? What if God came into this place in such a powerful way that we felt the movement? Would we white knuckle it? We go with it. That's a question that we need to think about. It can be terrifying when times are changing, right? You don't know me. I don't know you. And yet, we have chosen to trust that we are together, guided by the Holy Spirit. Today, we have the story of the apostles there in that room, closed away out of fear. And something happened to them that was completely unexpected. The wind and those tongues of flames of fire on their heads. And then they were gifted with the ability to speak with everyone. Maybe they said everything in their own language. It was God translating it into the other language so that people would understand. We don't know. We just know that something happened that allowed people to communicate, to come together in community, to hear about God's love in a bigger way. That's what Pentecost is. Pentecost is this coming together into community feeling God's love, God's support, God's invitation into a future that's bigger than we can possibly comprehend. Pentecost reminds us that we're never alone. God doesn't say, hey, I put the two of you together, and now you're stuck with each other, and deal with it. God doesn't. It's the same for marriages, for relationships. You don't get stuck together and it's like, okay, deal with it. Never alone. That's what the gift of Pentecost is. It's the remembering that you're not alone. We're not alone. On that drive in Wyoming, I prayed an awful lot. It's like, please, God, just get me to the next place I need to be. And then it was, as I learned, it was, God, should I drive today? It was. I've never been so terrified in all the things I have done. I have never been so terrified as driving a 12-foot box truck across Wyoming. And in that time, it was, God, I trust you that we will be safe. When my son and I got to here to Oregon, and I was coming in through Bend, and it was snowy, and it's like, okay, yet another weather incident. How can this be? Well, don't drive from Texas to Oregon in February, I learned. That's another one. But I was cautious and going slow because, again, I had chains, but I didn't want to use them. I was hoping I could get through. And my son, at that point, my son said, I'm getting a little scared. And I said, okay, this is actually easier than all the way. He said, I didn't notice that you were struggling so much driving that truck. I felt safe while you were driving there. I can see the snow, and I know it's slippery. I was amazed that another person there and 3 cats could not know how terrified I was. And I knew God was with us. As we reflect on the text today, as we consider what it is to be community together, Jesus said to the disciples, peace be with you. Be with you. In the midst of all that is happening with not knowing each other, with all that is happening in Portland and in our country, all the chaos that is going on around us, we can hold on to those words. Peace be with you. As the Father has sent me, so I send you. We have to go through the tough stuff in order to know that we can do it. And it's okay. We'll do it together. We'll be terrified. We'll be challenged. We'll laugh. We'll have fun. We'll get upset with each other. We'll be honest with each other. We will build deep relationships. We will learn to trust each other. We will learn that God is always with us, and that God's love is always more abundant than we can imagine. That's what the apostles had to learn so that they could go forward into the future. That is what the Corinthians were talking about. Paul's letter to them. Your children will be visionaries. Listen to them. Your elders have dreams. Listen to them. Everyone is equal in their ability to communicate and be with the Holy Spirit. We are all equal. There is no one better in this place than another. You are all with me, ministers in this place, in this community. We all have the power of the Holy Spirit. So we remember that as we enter this new time, scary time. We enter this time together knowing that we'll learn and we'll grow. We will be together in community through the power of the Holy Spirit. Today's hymn is Spirit of Gentleness. The last verse is, you call from tomorrow, you break ancient schemes. From the bondage of sorrow, all the captives dream dreams. Our women see visions, our men clear their eyes. With bold new decisions, your people arise. That's what we're going to do. With bold new decisions, the Holy Spirit is leading us forward into a new place. So I invite you to stand and join in singing with me, Spirit, Spirit of Gentleness.